You got the mic. And now I'm worried what Carson can do is he has a file of my voice.
Fingers. Tim Taylor's.
Hurt him first, not me, please. Remember, we're friends. Everybody make sure you're filling out your evaluation slips. We'd like everybody to fill these out, guests and members included. Next, I'll be introducing speaker number 2. Working on a Pathways project, our next speaker has a message for everyone needs to hear. Please welcome Toastmaster Sean Esler with his speech titled, Eating for Life.
Thank you very much. This you can trust and verify. Let's talk about food for a second. Let's go a little lighthearted here. I want everybody to think about your favorite food. Now, not just your favorite food. That food you really, really want. That one that when you get home, you could sit down at that kitchen table and just gorge yourself on. We've all got one, right? You've got that one food that, given any chance you had, you'd put aside everything. You've had this since childhood. Think back to being a child. Remember mom and dad going out to the store? They'd bring home that box of cereal. You know, that one box that you would dig into the shopping bag for to get the bowl then. Or maybe, as a teenager, they'd go do that shopping and you'd eat that whole box in a day. Which, by the way, did tick off your parents. For those of you that aren't parents, yes, when your teenagers go digging through and they eat the entire box, it's a huge thing. But as we get older, we realize you can't have just the box. You've got to have more. And we've kind of got this nice variety of food sitting back here behind us. You know, you can add on the muffins, the cinnamon rolls, the granola bars, the bananas. And you can make yourself this nice buffet. Because you realize you need more than just that box of cereal. You need a variety of things. Right? Variety is the spice of life. Isn't that what they say? Okay. So you've got your plate of food here in front of you. But we're not talking about food. We're talking about your life here. Now follow me on this one. You start off as a child, we're all given the same plate, the same amount of time. Your parents sit there and they kind of arrange it, and your life is pretty much school, time with the parents, and playtime. And we all love playtime. But what happens? We get a little bit older and, we got a little more school that we got to fit on the plate here, and that's all fine, right? You get a little bit older and homework takes up things, and then maybe sports activities, right? But then what happens? You get to be a teenager, and there's a little more work, and then all of a sudden, girls! We make a mess of our time and our lives. Yes. Those lovely teenage years, everything goes to pot. But eventually we mature a little bit and we arrange things and we make enough space for other stuff. But, now you're a young adult and you want to have, a little bit of a nightlife. So you stay out till midnight, 1 a.m., and you still get up at 6 a.m. And it's still a bit of a mess, but we can manage our time. But we mature, we get older. And for those of us, you get a little further down in life, what happens? Kids. And they ruin everything. Stuff goes everywhere. Pieces of chocolate are flying all over your plate. Chaos ensues. But over time, you learn as a parent, to arrange things a little neater here. You kind of put some of the pieces back. You shuffle off the things you don't really need. And you're back to some kind of organization. But then your kids get older. And of course, there's football, there's gymnastics, there's scouts, there's all kinds of other things taking up more time on your plate. But wait, there's more. Because at some point in there, somebody's going to ask you, hey, can you help us coach? Maybe fill in as a den leader or something. And that plate just keeps getting fuller and fuller. And you keep adding more. And somebody comes along and asks you to do one more thing. And one more thing. And all of a sudden, you've got this huge plate that you have managed your entire life. You started out thinking there was no way I could add more stuff into my time, and yet here you are. But then you're still empty. You're still hungry. You're still trying to fit more on your plate. And hopefully you hit this epiphany. You know that realization I'm talking about? There's this point in your life where the light bulb goes on. No, not that one. That light bulb goes on. And you realize this plate of food is amazing. But it's not for me to consume. It's there for you to share. You get to give away part of yourself, part of your time. And you realize that after doing that, the joy, the fulfillment comes from giving it all away. You see, Toastmasters and guests, in this great buffet of life, true fulfillment comes from sharing it all. Thank you very much.
Let me help.